I didn't have enough patience to get it to the crisp that I like. Part of me was okay with that, seeing how things are when you open up a new box of Eggo waffles. Part of me is proud of myself. I was doing that because I know that there's certain time allotments for everything. And so sometimes you have to snip away at certain things that, you know, that are very simple. Because you have to ration out how many snippets you have to make, knowing you have to make X amount. So you ration it out in practice. And for me, the decision is not so bad. Because the consistency, luckily this time, is like one of a cruller. You know those smushy, smushy donuts with like the air pockets inside? Crullers are not for everyone, but for me, I'm not a donut person, but I really do like crullers. So, there are exceptions here and there. Part of my reality today. Or any day for that matter, but especially today. So, good morning. Welcome back. My most ethical light and love crew. I started contemplating. Suppose what you see is what you get. I was called to title that accordingly. Because things are not always what they seem. So, receptivity and reciprocation is dependent on what we're energetically taking note of. What we observe within our very now moment concurrent with someone else's now moment. So, that all brings the question, what is our perception? What are we receiving from the world? And what are our blockages versus our boundaries? And I think that's the important thing to look at right now. Blockages versus boundaries. Okay. We're going to use the Tarot del Fuego. Of course, I've got some things to do today because the certain time allotment that I thought it was going to take for a certain avenue of tasks carried over from day to day. And that's just how it is. And, you know, in any field of work, you can't get down on yourself for how long it's taking because that is part of the process. It's going to take however long it's going to take. So you got to be the better boss of yourself and just go with the flow of that. The reality check. Because you know that there's a certain reality of a boss that doesn't comprehend that or will refuse to comprehend that. Admit to it, basically. Yeah. So let's go with this. Angels of light and love, I welcome you in to direct and protect these messages. My chakras, my auras, my space, my health and wellness, and that of our children's. Thanks so very much. All right. So, I started contemplating, like, everything is so freaking synchronous nowadays. Especially this past week. Everything. To the very T. The more I blabber my mouth, the more exacting everything is. And it's just so, it feels so calculated that I wonder, like, is this even real? You know, when you get into like, when you get to hold the Philosopher's Stone, and you get to that synchronicity and you realize, am I just, am I the creator for sure? Like, is everything just to my wielding? Is that, did I make all this mess? Because if that's the case, I'm okay with cleaning it up. I don't mind cleaning up my own messes. So, looking at the bigger picture, it is, what time is it? I don't know, freaking 9 o'clock or something like that. I spent like 40 minutes on the phone trying to talk to a relationship manager about my finances on my mortgage, and it's like, how is it that it makes sense to ask for assistance 7 months down the road, going through these cycles, and the final decision has been made? Congratulations, you're approved to pay $150 to $200 more than what your normal payment is. And I don't understand it. It feels like such a waste of time. But back to the synchronicities, okay? If all of this is something that I am creating, especially with how exact all of the downloads and people reappearing and making, like, the people who were like supposedly killed off of script, they're reappearing just as I mentioned them, like no more than 24 hours later. Everything is so exacting. Why can't I make something better? What what are my blockages? I don't understand. Why can't I make something better out of this? So, I'm just about to a point of surrender where it's like, there's only so much I can do. I'm not gonna let it affect my health, but at the same time, I'm living the human experience for sure. What do you want to say? Death in reverse. Am I afraid of death and dying? No. Of course not. You know, as I was walking back up the stairs with my 2 Eggo waffles that were not to the toastiness that I prefer them to be, because of a personal decision that I gotta get going. I gotta get to the answers. I gotta get to the delivery of multiple things. I I'm starting to lose track here. Give me a second. Angels, is it really that difficult for me that I'm starting to lose track here? I was walking upstairs and I don't remember what I was gonna say. I Oh, okay, thank you for reminding me. I thought, okay, well, if I'm not afraid of death, looking further into it, after I pass, it's like, I'm gonna be like, Tina, dude, you should have been doing this. Like, seriously. Like, oh man, I could have done that. Oh my goodness, Like, I know this. I know this to be true. So, I think that's the best way to look at things, just to get through them and not be so hard on myself. That it is just like, sometimes it feels like they want to say it's playing ground up there, but it feels like testing grounds here in this reality, and sometimes a battlefield. But I don't know how I feel about that. So it's just so weird for me to know so much and then not know. And not be certain. So, we've got transformation here. And Three of Pentacles in reverse. It's just dissolution. The Wheel of Fortune, which is destined to happen. The Fool card in reversed. And the Two of Wands. So they're saying this is like, okay, the other half is like suspension, suspended. What does that mean in school? Is it being suspended? It's like a couple tally marks away from being expelled. Oh yeah, they're talking about dissolution. So some of you are going to school. Some of you like have broken the law in some manner. Some of you, holy smokes. A lot of, God. Shoot. So, yeah. Some of us have a breaking away to do. There's a breakup. The big ass breakup, okay? And I'm not sad about it anymore. Like, I've come to grips with a lot of this stuff. I've processed it. I didn't compartmentalize. I did the healthy thing, and I've got to say, all throughout this process, I've stayed sober. I've been so good, especially for the past couple of years. No drinking, no doing drugs, no popping pills, no doing weed, no, what else? What else do people do? Okay, so we covered drinking, drugs, including the variations of it that are more accepted, which is pill popping and, what do you call it? Weed and, vaping or smoking. I did, quit smoking. There was like a couple months that I took it up, at a certain job, and then, I quit that. So that was, but like, all of that, like in the past couple of years, like no drinking, no, like nothing, none of that. I've been so clean, and any normal person would have at least like taken some kind of medication, popped some pills, done some retail therapy, and done like gone to the spa, like they would have, done things to alleviate the pain of transitions, or at least putting things away in a box, whether it's self or the other things. And so I have to be proud of myself for that I can at least, stand for that. hence probably likely the most, that's why I think there's a lot of receptivity as far as what I can do. So that's the one, that's a huge plus here. And back to suspension, I think this is more about, I'm hearing like suspension breaks. I don't even know what that means or what that does. But followed up by the Two of Wands. Oh, here. Okay, what they're saying is take a stop, take a moment, just like a breather here, okay? This is perfectly positioned wherever I'm at. I'm not working, I'm not scheduled for today. It seems as though the days that I am like absolutely not scheduled, those are days like that were predicted, that I knew like that I needed to get some major things done. So they left them open and clear. So I can't complain about those things, because there are people associated in my life that are very hush hush, that are meant to help set me up, like in the background. And so I'm not gonna get upset about not being scheduled for today, because today is the day when really like a lot of stuff should happen, that will happen. So being in suspended mode, looking at self, like what I bring to the table. Do you see how they're directly looking? We're forced to look with like a fine-tuned tooth comb, 4 eyes, basically 4 eyes also on both sides. So this is giving me Gemini, but very like intense Gemini, like Virgo Gemini. So looking at each side, like what creativity do you bring into the room, using both sides, yin and yang, left brain, right brain, etc., recipient end as well as doing. How does that intersect? And how do we bring value to that? Value to ourselves, not just saying like, hey, we're added value. Okay. How much more can we bring to the table based on this like midpoint, this cross section? So again, looking at with a fine tooth comb, taking a cross section of ourselves, especially with this in this transitory state, because like when you're in the womb, when you're in an embryonic or cocoon state, you're left with just kind of looking at yourself. Okay. Your private parts, like the sacredness of just observing self. And so that's why like it doesn't bother me to have to like gush out these feelings on page. What you see is what you get, and if you don't see yourself, then how are you going to see the rest of the world, right? I started getting a little bit of a headache because my hair was up all night, wet, basically. Okay. So, all right. What you see is what you get. Jesus Christ, you've been helping me all along with these messagings, and I have not taken a personal, moment to say, like, thank you. So thank you. I just kind of rushed at the end, and so sorry about that. All right. So anything else that more needs to be said? I'm going to take 10 more minutes, and then we're done here, okay? Knight of Wands in reverse, and then Stone turned, 7 of Swords in reverse, King of Cups in reverse, 5 of Pentacles in reverse. There's something here about an unsteadiness, like a lack of confidence here. It's like there's, but not 100% here. It's things that are so obvious. There's no lacking. I think the wisest of the wise would see in my environment, these are seers, like the wisest seers, they would see there's nothing that you lack. You have everything that you could possibly have to resource in order to get back into good standing. if not better. I think the latter is the most important part. So these are people who have been through like a lot of things. A lot. Very complex situations. These are what you considered mentors. And there's also something here that they're not saying like, oh, you're being a big baby. No, because they understand it. And I think I'm also appreciated for the efforts in not having to dive into, the standard norm of human behavior and what's acceptable in drinking or pill popping or smoking out or even retail therapy, even with services. They do appreciate that. I think that's the reason why I get respect from them, is that I've exercised a certain amount of discipline in that avenue, that I am still human, and that I will get a coffee here and there, but there's nothing that's in absolute excess that is even halfway to the norm of what others behave as. So I think that's why they're present. They're not part of the crowd. They're like, oh, what does she know? Like, what kind of downloads are coming through that I can access? How can I use that to my advantage, That's a dime a dozen, They've experienced that realm. They've been in my shoes in that atmosphere. Dude, totally like a crueler. So what's the other messaging here? You know what spirits tell me? Jesus, anyway. It's like when you have a bag of groceries and the packaging is weak. Either it's the handles, we know, like at I think Trader Joe's or like Amazon Fresh or whatever. There are certain retailers that have weak handles, and we've come to learn that through the course of time. No big deal. Carry it from the bottom or carry it from its sides. So what Jesus Christ or Spirit is saying in Cash is saying that they're helping with like the undercarriage part of it, the brunt of the weight. So things don't fall through. Especially if you have like something cold packaged, the condensation comes through and weakens the barriers, weakens the support system, the cornucopia, the thing that's supposed to like carry the abundance back home. So Jesus, or Spirit and Cash, is helping us like beneath the surface. We have networks like that too. Oh, they're like our safety net, our live safety net. So what you see is what you get. Even within the ethers, even within energetics, like this whole time I didn't realize that really in that picturing that experience, that daily experience. But now I see it, and now that means it'll be, is it fortified? What is that? Does that mean that, okay, and what you see is what you get? And now that I've observed it in this time, what does that mean? The Magician in reverse. Oh, and the Ace of Wands in reverse. Yeah, there is some undercover magic here, and Eight of Wands is communicated. Some magic is about to happen. Something magical. I was worried because I thought that was the tower moment, but it isn't. It's just a scare. It's like, psych! We're just communicating and there's a rumble. There's a rumble in the atmosphere. But this is a, oh my gosh, I don't remember ever seeing it like that, but this is a binding of Four of Wands, two households. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why I'm getting Romeo and Juliet, like the House of Montague and whatever, but like, these are two sides that are like bound together, still separate within its ways, but like there's a bridge, like a bridge of permanency there. Interesting. So, and what's peeking right behind it is slightly the Hanged Man. So, there's some magic being done behind the scenes. Definitely. But we get to see the magicians, or the magicians get to observe us. We're not quite communicating, but that's not like being given the cold shoulder. It's like people are making, energies are making themselves more presently known than ever. To say like, hey, subtly, you know, you got this, and we're here. We're here to help, and that's what exactly what we're going to do. Top of the deck is Nine of Swords. So I think that's more like they can't stress that enough. Yeah, for sure. Because they're coming in beast mode. Do you see that? They're all about the death situation too, with what do you call it? Transformation. But here in this like little porcupine of like a hedgehog that's blindfolded, freaking on fire. That looks more like the Ten of Swords here, you know, at its back, but it's part of its mate. You know what I mean? Like when you think about it in that way, whatever's, this is like us going punk mode, but at the same time, we're like in, how do I say it? We're being led by these voices, right? These motionings. And I think it's a stressor because there's an anticipated additional sword, because that's a foreboding of the Ten of Swords right there. When we're looking at the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, that's what it's saying. So like there's obvious stress here, but I think that's why we have people, energies in the background going beast mode for us. So, you know, and what you see is what you get. We don't always have to see with our eyes. Like energetically, we know. We just know. Yeah, you see, like there's like laser vision right there, even with the blindfold. Definitely. So I don't find it scary at all with the ones that work with me or that I work with. It isn't, and the phase of life that I'm going through right now, I don't really, I don't, it's weird. Like, I don't find it scary, but at the same time, I find it very stressful. So back to the initial part of it. In questioning myself, like, why can't I make something better out of this? It's not why can't I, but why am I not? Like, what is the blockage there? And the reality check is that there are no blockages. There are no real roadblocks. I've already cleared them. I have to trust in my words and my affirmations. I do it nearly every day now in clearing those obstructions. But I think the pitfall is maybe perhaps doing it out of fear rather than confidence, like in the knowing. Like as a precaution. I get as an added precaution, just in case somebody's trying to fuck up my day. So, I really don't think that there's any true blockages, like, to make things better. I think things are already in motion, especially with that death card in reverse. It's already getting through it. I mean, if the death card was an upright, I would say that, it's something that has to be faced, that we're confronted with. But if it's in reversal, the transformation is already in progress. So, things are already in motion to get better. What's behind the Eight of Wands? Okay, the Hangman. Like, the people who are super psychic, no, but they know ethically they can't tell me. They're not supposed to tell me. That's not the way it's supposed to go. They know it. And the Moon card in reverse. Intentions. Page of Cups in reverse. Ooh, I'm not even supposed to say. I've been given the gist of it. You can't take things for like the face value, not always. There's something more to it, because at first there was confusion in reading the cards, especially as we progress further. Just like confusion, but I decided to let it go. Let it like speak itself one card at a time in conjunction to the others. And I'm really not supposed to say. But literally the motto is, Tina, you got this. It's not just in the bag, it's in pocket. It is yours. It is. Okay, they said to be low key. Low key. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, what can we close with, Spirit? I think we can basically close with knowing that we're fully supported at this point. Like, I don't expect a lot of viewers to be on this particular one. I don't expect to be like there any comments or anything of that sort, And it doesn't get me down. I think it's something that's just an observation that's factual. It's just based on, you know, knowing that there's only a certain amount that will, how do I say it? Listen, like, I'm not here to sell anything, really. I'm not here to convince anybody of this way or that way. With the messaging that's kind of just free forming and synchronous within its own messaging. Like, I know those that are here are supposed to be here, you know? So I don't question the quantity, the quality. It just is. And it's not just to their benefit, but also my own. So, yeah, I'm not stressed with making a name for myself. I feel like there's so much more ahead, like, for real. That looking at that avenue is just like small beans. I mean, those beans could very well be like Jack and the Beanstalk level to new adventures, which I think that's kind of like another tangent of a story for me. But for right now, there's a lot. There's a lot going on. So our takeaway, 9 of Wands. Talk about Jack and the Beanstalk for sure. That's so weird. What? Like, how many people get to venture onto that? How many people are chosen to have that kind of a destiny? To have, like, to encounter that glass of water over there and be like a Fool card that, in transit, hiking mode, more so climbing mode, but like having your back basically while moving forward. And there's also an impression where we're taking others with us that we don't really, know, because they're kind of like out of the picture. But you see that? Like, why there's a reason why there's a reach. That's interesting. That's so weird. We're talking about Jack and the Beanstalk and this journey. That is so weird. What? Oh my gosh. That is crazy. My goodness, that's crazy. That is crazy. That's insane. I don't know. Okay, let's open one more card. Like, to close with that, I didn't even expect that. 10 of Cups and dude. It's crazy. I mean, it's excellent. Crazy excellent. So no bananagrams today. Yeah, this is excellent. Holy smokes. Things are coming together actively within our own grasp. And I think the energies that are there for us are very intuitive too. Psychic within their own ways, in which, like, it's, how do I say it? Very much kin energy, so I don't have to worry about like any Judas energy there, because this new network is very self-sustaining, so it already expels all of the bad stuff. Like, first puts them on suspension, right? Take a good look at yourself. You have some growing to do, etc. It sets them into transformational mode with their own cocoon status. So there's a certain like organic binding that happens with any kind of Judas energy that encounters me at this point, especially if they come off as like helpers, assistants, etc. And so that doesn't, I'm happy and proud to say that does not worry me in the slightest, because knowing that reality is just excellent. Like, that is blessed for sure, not to have to worry about like watching your back on all of that. Um, because I think people are just starting to see or have seen the patterns of their own blessings relative to mine. So things are working out accordingly. My intentions are coming to fruition, and it's just a matter of a process and connectivity, like connecting all the dots. And there are many, many dots, many data points, in order, like that's why it's taking some time. So that's excellent. I feel better. So, mission accomplished. Okay. All right, that's it. So, thanks for respecting my time, my space, my energy, my work, and your donations of light and love. I appreciate it. Okay. It's whatever I've got to do today. It's just I have to look at myself like up in the ethers, up as like some angelic realm. Like, what's next after this? Tina is going to be so freaking awesome. No boundaries, no barriers, nothing like that. She's going to be looking down at little Tina on September 20th, 2023. Be like, Tina, first off, all you're doing is punching, like, they're just keystrokes. That's all that it is. It's just like little tap dance with your nails, and it's hand-eye coordination. You're filling out forms that speak to this earthly realm, and whatever comes of it, we'll figure it out. Okay, we'll figure out the terms and conditions. We can work things out. Don't worry about it. Don't stress about it. Just kind of like do your part in the motionings. And there's no mistakes from here on out, Tina. There, like, even if like you forgot to fill in a field or misinterpreted something, it's nothing is a mistake. Okay, so just go with that. Go, like they told me when I first started, honesty is the best policy. Just move forward with that, and you cannot go wrong. You will not go wrong, and you shall not go wrong. You just do that. Just like, and you don't have to like worry about keeping tabs on yourself. Like, you can do your maintenance checks more legitimately, and it sets the tone for others. Like, oh shit, I should have told the truth about this and that too. Look where that got me. So it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be better than okay. Dude, I was a freaking wreck when I first started. So this reading has been an official tune up. Yep. Okay. All right. So, upon closing all portals, I send all energies back to their appropriate locations outside of mine with their appropriate karmas due, helping initiate that sequence of rollout. In light and love, I close all portals. Now, there it is.